So I hear you talking about having stressors. How many siblings did you say you had?
I got 3 in total.
3. So did you live with all of them?
Yeah.
When you were younger?
So I'm the youngest of 4. I got a 10-year older brother. He has Down syndrome.
Oh.
His name is Nick.
Okay.
And he is not my dad's child like my mom. Had a husband before, and
Okay.
actually when Nick, my brother, was 3 months old, he left my mom. I guess because of the whole Down syndrome part and stuff. And,
Really?
And shortly after, she met my dad, and they just kind of hit it off. And my dad fell in love with Nick, and so they decided to make it happen. So then I got 2 older sisters. One's 4 years older, and the other one's 2 years older.
Okay.
And my older sister, the 4-year older sister, we never really got along.
Okay.
As a child, I feel like she kind of felt like my second mom, kind of.
Oh, really?
So if my parents were ever busy or something and we were at the house, she was, I guess, responsible for me or whatever. So we didn't get to connect, I feel like.
Okay.
So that was pretty distant.
Okay.
And then the sister that's 2 years older than me, we were closer as children, and we'd play a lot together and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of drifted as time went on, so we're not as close now as we were.
Okay. So when did they move out of the house? I'm sure you saw them move out.
It's pretty rocky as far as my sisters are concerned. They kind of didn't really get along with my parents, or they kind of how do you say it? Rebelled, yeah. Tested the waters and kind of see what can I get away with, or you're not the boss of me and stuff like that.
Okay.
So a lot of sneaking out of the house and kind of just not really good behavior, which I never really did what they did.
Really?
Maybe that made me feel even more secluded or something, or lonely.
Why didn't you do that, you think?
I just didn't. I felt like I didn't have just a reason or just a want to let me sneak out of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning and go.
Did they get in trouble when they did it?
They got away. They were pretty good at hiding their tracks.
Okay.
And they, we would fight a lot about, because I was younger and I wasn't, they were high school and I was maybe the end of middle school, early high school, so I wasn't I wasn't as grown, so I didn't understand what's the big deal about doing all that, and we'd get into a lot of fights, and especially my older sister, we never really had a real sibling relationship,
She was always just the lay down the rules, even though she didn't play by the rules.
Yeah, and she was don't tell her. She'd basically keep everything from me to make sure I didn't tell my parents, which, not a very trusting relationship.
Right.
Yeah. And then as far as my brother goes, we shared a room for a long time, 18 years or so. And so I'm super close with him, and we're all close with him, and he's a very happy guy. He brings a lot of happiness into my life and stuff, and I understand him a lot, so that's, I guess, one good thing about the siblings, but the other 2, not so much.
So you don't see your sisters as much now?
No, not really. So yeah, back to what they, used to do, sneaking out and stuff. So my 2-year older sister, Natalie, as soon as she graduated high school, she had a long distance boyfriend that she kept in touch with, so she kind of moved out and went to some college in Florida and kind of moved in with a boyfriend or whatever. They ended up getting married and having my first niece, but then the relationship got rocky pretty shortly after that, and so she moved back here, to where her support system was and stuff. But before she moved out there and stuff, that caused a lot of friction between her and my parents, and I was around a lot of that, because they were basically just didn't approve their relationship and stuff like that.
Okay.
And Natasha, my older sister, 4-year older sister, she's in and out of a lot of relationships. She's very secretive just in general.
Okay.
Which makes me just feel, distant and secluded and stuff.
Right. So did they come to your wedding?
Oh yeah, they were in the wedding and all that.
Okay.
We can I guess get along for short periods of time.
Okay.
And then just too much exposure. Nerves wear thin or something like that.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you keep in contact with your brother still, I'm sure?
Oh, yeah, I see him a lot. He's still lives with my mom and stuff because he's more dependent and, can't fully live on his own and stuff. But he does have, like, a program he goes to through Goodwill and stuff. And has a lot of friends there. But, yeah, I see him a lot. And also my wife is very, like, loving of him. And
that's good.
That's nice to know. Yeah. And then, speaking on more, like, troubles of my family, I guess, my mom, she doesn't get along with her stepmom, who came into her life when she was 13, and they just, they're, 40 years or so into the future, and they hate each other's guts more than ever.
So your dad's mom?
No, my mom's dad's wife.
Oh,
not her
stepmom.
mom, but
okay,
stepmom.
All right, I'm with you.
Yeah, and so that's another thing is, I guess they hold grudges a lot. So I guess like my family just has really bad coping skills or communication skills.
What
stuff like
does
that.
Your family think about your wife?
They love her and they think she's like the most positive thing that could have happened to me. I probably wouldn't end up in grad school at all right now if it wasn't for her, like just being a positive influence and like pushing me to kind of my potential and stuff like that. So I don't have anything bad to say about her.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So she pushed you towards going to grad school.
Yeah, she like, positively reinforced me into it, and just instead of me like getting content where I was or just kind of like, not to say losing ambition, but just kind of, be fine where I'm at. She's like, she knows I like psychology and stuff, and she just kind of helped me like see doors that were available, and I just kind of walked into one of them.
So content with where you were at. Where were you at?
Just like graduated high school, working, just kind of not really. I probably wouldn't have strived to do anything more. Just kind of get comfortable in the job that I was in and probably work that, until I couldn't.
Okay. So the hospital job, you just recently got that? Is that what you said?
No, I've been there for almost 3 years.
Okay.
So that
So
was,
while you were in undergrad, you were working there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like halfway through undergrad or something, I got that job.
Okay. So you have been exposed to working and going to school already, so you kind of.
Yeah, but I also feel like I'm not as good as like balancing that as most people. Like a lot of people in the class will probably work full time and still be in school and stuff, and I just like I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, your shifts are 12 hours since you work at the hospital.
Yeah.
That's probably different from.
Yeah, and then they've got kids
people.
too, so they'll have like young kids and a full time job and their house. Dynamics and going to school, so like I just feel like they can achieve a lot to where me, I'm like, I'm pushing it already.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, they are also older, probably.
Right.
And experienced more. Okay. So, what about your wife's siblings? How many siblings does she have? You told me that.
Yeah, the twin brother and then the younger brother.
Okay, and they both still live at the house.
Yeah. Her younger brother goes off to Eastern Carolina University, so he goes to school up there. Her parents are divorced, long time divorced, like when they were young kids. So that was something I guess they had to deal with, Luckily, my parents are still together, which not the healthiest relationship, but they I guess make it work, and they're trying.
Okay. You think they're trying for Nick?
Oh, that's probably a good portion of it. Yeah, that's definitely in the mix.
Yeah.
Of why. Plus, I think, they're used to it because it's been about 20, high 20s, 28 years or something that they've been together. Because Nick's about 32 or something. So maybe 30 years they've been together. And they're just used to that life, and I guess they know the goods and bads, and they just kind of stay with it.
Yeah. Okay. So, you live with just her mom, right?
Yeah, her mom, and then
she didn't get remarried or anything.
No. Okay. Yeah, she's never really seeked out intimate relationship after that.
So that's different from what you're used to.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually ever since we got together, I noticed like I could just pick out like my parents are this way, or my mom was this way about this. and it's like just completely opposite
Mhm.
in her family. Which
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I could appreciate the differences,
Yeah.
but it's definitely different.
Yeah. So what does her mom think about you guys living there? Have y'all ever talked about that?
Yeah, I mean, she appreciates the help. You know, she's a little overweight and stuff, and getting older, and she
Mhm.
works full time, so she doesn't really, I guess, want to be doing too many chores and stuff when she gets home in the
Right.
evenings. So we just kind
Mhm.
of we'll do laundry or cook sometimes, take out the trash, clean up stuff like that. So she appreciates it, and me and my wife been together about 8 years basically, like from the time we started dating in
Yeah.
high school to now. So I'd say I'm like pretty close, like to a
Yeah.
part of the family, like one of
Yeah.
her genuine sons, and also
Mhm.
her dad. You know, he lives in Hickory, she lives in Conover,
Okay.
about 20 minutes apart and stuff, and
Mhm.
I have a good relationship with him too.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, I do know that the kids kind of they love their dad too and have a good relationship, but at some
The
aspects,
two brothers.
yeah,
Okay.
but in some aspects they feel, you know, maybe like a little disconnect with him. I don't know, just he's a very professional guy, and obviously then being with her all the time, you know,
Mhm.
he'd missed out on some stuff or some bonding
Mhm.
time, and so that's different. So I appreciate my parents once again,
Yeah.
you know, them being together, and my dad being around as much as
Mhm.
he could, you know, because not everybody has that.
Yeah. So you're exposed to do two different
Right.
parenting
So I guess that
styles.
gives me insight.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yes, it does. Well, anything else you can think of that you're dealing with, or
Maybe like one other thing could be me being like Hispanic culture and coming from Florida and then coming to North Carolina in like my pre-teenage years. You know, I was 11 or 12. Um, Florida was like a very diverse place. A lot of like I knew all kinds of people from the Caribbean and South America and
yeah.
Europe. I mean, just so many people, and then you come here and it's like you know you're either Caucasian, African American, or Mexican. There's
Yeah.
not many other Hispanics, and then there's like a couple Hmong people.
Yeah.
So I feel like you get like placed in the one category pretty easy. So that was another like life shock, like culture change for me.
How old did you say you were when
12.
you moved here? 12. Okay.
Yep. So that was just interesting to deal with, and kind of, you know, had friends with certain people in certain like cultures or ethnicities, and kind of had to find my place where I belonged. First in Florida, it was just kind of, you know, you are who you are, and you just make friends with this person, that person, doesn't matter what they are. But here it's more like, you know, you belong to a certain like clique maybe.
Yeah. So was that hard? Did you find your place?
I guess so. I mean, I did the best I could and just kind of maybe joined in sports and stuff, and that helped.
What sports did you play?
Played some baseball, football, and some track. Did like the shot put stuff, not the running. Can't do the running.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like I didn't really like connect with that many people like I could have. Like I mean, I do have some strong connections, but as where like people have like friends in middle school and high school where you go and spend the night at their house, and that I didn't do that much. Like I had some friends, but I didn't have like super close friends that I knew from like way back in the day, and you know, go hang out with them all the time.
So having older siblings how did that play into it? They didn't know you from
right. Well, my older siblings had like a couple close friends actually, so they did have some people that would come over, and so I'd hang out with them sometimes. But at the same time, it's like mostly girls, and I'm a younger guy, and I was just like not really into that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not my kind of fun, I guess. So.
And I guess since she went through boyfriends, you never really kind of latched onto them because
yeah,
there's always a new one every week. Huh?
There's like no point because when you get close to one, then he's gone or whatever. So I feel like there was a lot of like, not isolation, but just kind of like solitude, maybe. Yeah. Because like I just kind of play video games or do my own thing, you know, and be content with that. Yeah. But not like, you know, have a bunch of group of friends that were, you know, did everything with. Yeah. Did you have a pet when you were growing up? Yeah, had a Doberman Pinscher. Okay. Yep. Maybe you miss having a dog around. Yeah, I definitely want a dog. Like I was telling you earlier, that would be good. Okay. Alright, well, it was good to meet you. Yeah. Next week we'll pick back up and see
What else you got for me?
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
All right.
All right.